to lose, refusing to give up. Astonishing right hook to the head. I'm the boogeyman.
Respect isn't given, it's earned in blood.
Boxing King Media, delighted to be joined by the master knowledge, Mr. Spencer Fearon. Spence, it's been a while. Hope you've had a good little break. You been up to much?
No, just was it? We completed Ramadan and then we had Eid, and yeah, and then that's it. Yeah, that's been it. Really looking forward to the Derek Chisora versus Deontay Wilder fight. So I'm looking forward to that. And may I say before anything, a massive shout out to TCU 29, who also they're one of the sponsors of the show, and it's I know one of the directors really well, so they're doing that, and a massive big up to the Sowlands and and Misfits Pro. So I want to big them up, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It should be an interesting fight week. It starts in a couple of days. I'm curious that phone behind you, Spence. That's proper old school. That most teenagers these days won't have a clue what that is.
They won't have a clue, and it actually works as well. So yeah,
Is it like an original, like a copy, or?
no, it's a copy because you can punch the buttons, but yeah, but
Okay.
it's I've had that for donkeys. Do you know what I
It's
mean? I've had that for donkeys.
it's mad in it. Teenagers these years have got no idea how quickly phones are developed from.
They have none whatsoever.
Yep, 100%. So it's been a while. We'll kind of go over a couple of things I want to get your opinion about. So we'll kind of fly through a lot of these subjects. But the first one I want to speak to you about is the John Fury interview. Obviously, everyone's seen what he had to say, but it appears to be centered around Sugar Hill. He's basically unhappy that Sugar Hill's been, welcomed back into the team, and it seems like he didn't want him to be part of the team. And he's obviously gone on and said that there's too many people that are just pleasing him, telling him what he wants to hear, type of thing. And yeah, and then he said the relationship's broken down. What do you make of the reappointment of Sugar Hill and just that whole thing that John Fury did?
Let's go back. Um, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, when Tyson Fury fought Deontay Wilder for the second time, the whole world was singing the praises of Sugar Hill. You know what I mean? Sugar Hill is I've known Sugar Hill for years, before anyone really knew about him. I knew him for years because one of my guys who I was training fought one of his guys in the Contenders, UK versus USA. So I've known Sugar Hill from then. You know what I mean? He's a cool guy. How it goes in boxing is this is quite. Oh, my guy beat Sugar Hill's guy, right? And it's people in boxing. I get it. When you're a trainer, you've got to play the game. You've got to play the game. You can't be over authoritative. You can't be doing all of this kind of stuff. And I think Sugar Hill's just working the way that he's working. So I don't think nobody should be overly critical of Sugar Hill because I think he's a decent trainer. But as we're looking in boxing right now, when the fighters are doing good, it's all down to the fighter. When the fighter does bad, then it's down to the trainer, and that's how it goes.
Indeed. What do you make of him bringing Sugar in like 3 weeks to go?
Do you know what? What can you actually teach Tyson Fury? Let's just be real. I mean, he's been in the game for a very, very long time. He's come from a lineage that is of the game, right? Who's been involved in boxing. I keep on saying from time and time again, Tyson Fury was most probably born with boxing gloves. So what are you going to teach him? So similar to what Sugar Ray Leonard would do. Like Sugar Ray Leonard was famously trained and managed, what a lot of people seem to forget, by the late great Angelo Dundee, right? Angelo Dundee would come in around about the same time, 2 weeks before a fight, to work with Leonard. Leonard was trained by Dave Jacobs, right? And those guys would would allow would allow for Angelo Anandi to come in the later parts, because he's saying, well, you know that stuff. I'm just here to fine tweak and fix, not overly critique things, and we just go on. So I think should be wait a baby no more. He's up in the ages as well, and he's experienced. I think that's what they're doing. Like, you come in the last 3 weeks and then we'll just work.
Okay. Well, that fight is a couple of weeks away. We'll do predictions on that next week, and then also whilst we've had this Ramadan break, there was like a more developments from the Eddie Hearn and Conor Benn saga. Obviously, we saw recent rumors of Prograis might be injured, might not be injured, and then apparently he's not injured. And then we've seen Eddie call Conor a dog, and also now say that you borrowed him over $1 million. What do
Who
you think
said
about
that?
Eddie? He did say hundreds of thousands before, but he said 7 figures this time.
Okay, listen to me. Off of those kind of things, I'm just going to keep this thing totally 100, my brother. I'm not interested to critique that, because Eddie Hearn isn't a bad person to Eddie Hearn, and Conor Benn isn't trying to be a bad person to Conor Benn, right? They're not bad people. They just reached a point where someone's done something where someone's going to feel aggrieved, and I understand why they're feeling aggrieved.
Yes.
But then I'm looking at things from Conor Benn's perspective. You say, listen, F everybody, I want to look after my family. And this is generational wealth, and I want to look after my family, right? There are manners in which you can go do things, but I'm sure there are many fighters, and it's not me having no dig at Eddie Hearn, right? But there are many fighters of the past that wouldn't have the most pleasant things to say about Eddie Hearn, how they were treated, right? So it is what it is. Like, on those things, trust me, what's it? Kalas. You know what I mean? But to call him a dog and stuff like that, I can understand why you're feeling aggrieved. But this is the next thing. This is what next thing where I just want to put this one out here, yeah, Boxing King Media. How does anybody know or not know that within that contract that was offered to Conor Benn, right? Whatever amount of money it was a lot of money, right? But how do we know, like, part of the stipulation is that you can't say nothing to nobody about this? How do we know? We don't, do we?
No.
Exactly. And that's all I got to say on the matter.
Okay. And then obviously sticking with Conor Benn, I don't know if you saw the interview that Adam Cattrall did from Talksport. Adam got a lot of stick.
Yeah, it was very good. Big up Adam. I watched it.
I want to get your opinion on it because he got a lot of stick because obviously when Conor had the old saga with the board and the failed tests, etc. The obviously Adam did like a video where he pointed out specific questions that he needs to be asked if he's ever interviewed, and obviously he got his opportunity and he didn't. The question I've got to ask you is, was that criticism fair or not fair? Because I think they pointed out on Talksport the moment he started asking things like that, the interview would have ended, which is fairly valid because obviously it's in the past, it's done dusted, he's been cleared to fight, etc. So, and also the whole thing of like, what I don't know if is there a role for people to be like a pundit and then also that same pundit to try and interview the same fighter they might have been critical of?
You have to be real with this, right? Adam Cattrall was a very nice man. I'll give him. I got a lot of time for him, right? You know why? Because he doesn't pose to be a boxing person, right? You get people inside boxing now who are inside boxing. So because you're inside boxing, that makes sure, but they're not necessarily, but they ain't been through the tracks. There's no disrespect to Adam Cattrall. He's a nice man. Obviously, if Adam Cattrall would have raised anything to Conor Benn about that you know the amount of red tape and stipulations it is when you're dealing with Conor Benn, especially now. Like, things have to be approved, most of the questions had to be put in earlier, all the rest of it before he even got that sit down with Conor Benn. If he'd have said, okay, we're going to sit down with Conor Benn, the first thing I'm going to ask you about the drug allegations, they're going to happen later. You know what I mean? And also, the reason why I like Adam Cattrall, because as an interviewer, he doesn't make it about himself, right? That's one thing I noticed about him. I listen to when these things are right. He doesn't make it about himself because he knows that he's not the star. You know what I mean? He's just a facilitator. That's what he is. So on this card here, he's got to play it smart and say, well, you know what? We want to try and build a relationship with Conor instead of trying to overly trying to gun him or jump onto things, and because they wouldn't have had an interview, and he got an interview, and so said, so done, because even you, Boxing King Media, with the masses of fans subscribers that you got, you're even mentioning it, so it must have done something. So I think Adam Catterall did the right thing.
Oh, sorry, you say we're mentioned in it?
No. I'm saying that you are mentioning him. So if you're mentioning that, he must have he got the desired effect, because a lot of people watched that, because I think that was his first big interview. So yeah, fair play to him.
No, it's because he put out an apology about the interview because he said it wasn't a good interview. So that's why, because obviously that did a lot of
Yeah. Oh, well, you know what? No, you know what? I understand all the things where Adam would stand on, because I think they still think he's a drug cheat anyway. You know what I mean? Whether they're going to come out and say it now, but you were there, was it 2 weeks ago Sunday, at the British Border Control Luncheon Awards, right? You were there.
Yeah.
Right? And when you were there, we've noticed all the stick that Conor Benn has received, right?
Yeah.
But you saw in that room, and they weren't ex-fighters, we saw people who were boxing fans that bought their ticket to sit down at a luncheon, yeah, were running round. There was a long queue for people to get their autograph of Conor Benn and to get their picture of him. And then more than likely, I would say 90% of those people are the same ones slagging him off and saying what he done to Eddie Hearn was disgusting.
Yeah, 100%. I actually said
right, exactly. So therefore, this is what this guy you've got to realize on this thing here is like, it doesn't matter, because everybody's full of bullshit.
Yeah. No,
right? That's the rules on it. Yeah. Now the real ones would have said, nah, to hell with Conor Benn. They've seen him over there, to hell with him. I don't even know a picture, I don't even know. But no, they didn't, did they? Right? Because they are all groupie little bitches. That's why. You know what I mean? Then unfortunately, people don't stand on their truth. If it's your truth, then stand on it. And that's not smart business or all the rest of it. No, stand on your truth. Unfortunately, a lot of people won't.
No,
right?
I agree.
And also fair play to Conor Benn, because he apologized to Duke McKenzie.
He did,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was spot on. What you said there is 100% true. Because even after when he came back from the when he was out for a while, even then, wherever I've been, the love he gets from the fans is literally AJ level.
Crazy, right? It's crazy.
Yeah. So moving on, I want to quickly get a recap from. I only really want to talk about two fights from this weekend, because otherwise we'll be here for
Okay.
the one that most people are looking forward to, Willy Hutchinson, Ezra Taylor. Obviously, we never got to do a prediction before the fight, so I don't know if you're going to tell the truth.
I gave my, you know what? I gave my prediction to those young guys who are trying to help round 13, right?
What did you predict?
And my prediction was Willy Hutchinson. I didn't want him to win, but I'm saying Willy Hutchinson was going to beat Ezra Taylor, and he did. And you know what? The saddest thing is this, right? When you know someone, or you know their camp, I know his camp, I know his team, I know Micah very well, who's his manager. I mean, they're good guys. I know them from when they were doing their music. I mean, I know Jams as well. It's very difficult for you to go to somebody and say, you know what, your guy's going to lose, because as soon as you say that, you're hating. Right? So instead of that, I'll try to encourage people to say, I think you should do this, or maybe you should do that, and all the rest of it. But I see like Malik Scott's getting a lot of stick right now. Right? A lot of stick. And I don't think it's right that he's getting a stick. I don't.
Okay. What did you make of the actual performance? Was it a case of Ezra not changing, adapting, doing? Could he have done anything different, or is Willy
This what I'm trying to. This what I'm saying is this. Like, it's very difficult to explain fighting to people who don't really understand fighting, right? When you are constantly training to do picture perfect punches, and everything is picture perfect, Malik Scott is very eclectic in the things that he does, right? And I said this on the show yesterday with Tundi and Julius Francis, and to be eclectic, it means like you pick up loads of different methods to make your method. There's not one direct method, and Malik Scott does that, right? But unfortunately, when you're fighting somebody like Willy Hutchinson, who's a very well accomplished amateur as well, yeah, and who really didn't come out of second gear. Adrian had to go to gear 5 just to keep up in that fight. And that's because he didn't have the IQ, right? And also it's because you're trying to do everything picture perfect. Everything has to be so no, sometimes you just gotta let your hands go. That's it. You know what I mean? And sometimes we really do overcomplicate boxing. We overcomplicate it so much that the simplicity becomes complicity.
So
That's what happens.
are you saying he was trying to over be perfect? And if so, why was he?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Is that
Most
based on the
definitely.
training? Is that based on himself?
Of course, it's going to be based on the training, but that's not me having any criticism of Malik Scott because I understand what Malik Scott's trying to aim for because he's trying to aim for perfection, right? But when you realize that perfection is you're chasing the end of the rainbow, you'll never get perfection. You can get close to it, you're never going to get perfection, right? But then sometimes it just boils down to, you know what I mean, do you want it, right? And do you want it? And sometimes you can't. You're always staying on shape, and he stayed on shape pretty well. But sometimes you just got to let your hands go and bite down on your gum shield. And there wasn't that because he's trying to bite down his gum shield, but he's trying to do it. He's trying to be too smart with it. And if you haven't got the education, and education comes from experience, and experience comes from being in it and constantly doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. When you keep on doing that, but you got to let your hands go, right? And sometimes, and I'm seeing this a lot, like I just posted something. The floor to ceiling bag, yeah? The floor to ceiling ball is a pivotal thing in boxing, which no, we don't see it anymore. People are trying to reinvent the wheel. Boxing is not that difficult. I'm telling you this now. It's not. It's not. It's not that difficult. It took the time for me to retire from boxing to actually realize it. You know what I mean? Seriously, certain things are intrinsic within you as a human being. What we saw with Willy Hutchinson is just years and years and years of all the stuff that he's been doing before. He didn't come out second gear. He
How good?
didn't.
How good is he, Spence?
No, he's very good. Listen, he got like earlier that day, yeah. I spoke with Craig Richards, right? I did an old people's feed at a church, and then after that, and then when I was there, I phoned Craig Richards, and I said, "Yeah, Craig, you know, come down and meet some of the elderly." And he said, "Yeah, yeah." And we was talking. I said, "What do you think for this fight?" He goes, "I'm not lying. Like, even though I had an off night, but Hutchinson's good. He's very good." Listen, Joshua Buatsi had to knock him down twice
It's a
to
big
get
man to
split
say that.
decision. Why?
You got to respect Craig for saying that because not many people would.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you know, it is what it is. Fair play to him. You know what I mean, fair play to him.
Moses Itauma, I think it's easier to praise him. So I've kind of been trying to do the opposite. Did you see anything that you think he maybe needs to work?
No, I didn't see nothing on him at all. Right? I saw him change range. Right? From going off for from dominating from his southpaw position and changing range, and also he does that Doctor Strange stuff where you bring the hand up and down, like it's like a timer throwing the right hand. How he digs to the body, and I like how he came out really fast in the first 2 rounds and sat down and he said to the corner like, right, you know what? And then Ben said to him like, all right, let's calm down. This is going to be a long process now. And he worked off of the back of that. All the credit in the world should be given to him, Lee Wiley as well. Because I see him up in the corners now, working in the corners. Lee Wiley, and Ben and Bazza as well. Barry Swift. Fair play to him. That was a very, very. He didn't show me nothing that I didn't think he couldn't do because I was saying that he's going to done him early, but it's how he finished him. It was a punch selection. He doesn't waste punches, and every shot that he throws as well. It's not even the fact that it's hurtful. It's that he's so bloody fast. He's the fastest heavyweight that I have seen. He's the fastest heavyweight I've seen since Mike Tyson.
Okay, tell me this then. Is there any other young crop of heavyweights, forget the top 5, 6, the next generation of heavyweights, who do you think will be his rival in about 2, 3 years' time?
Pat Brown.
He's a cruiserweight, isn't he?
He's gonna grow in weight. I'll tell you that now. Pat Brown's gonna be he's gonna be his rival. Remember, I'm telling you.
Interesting. Pat Brown. Okay. Last thing I want to speak to you about, Spence, is the Dave Allen fight with Hrgovic, which is getting officially announced tomorrow in Doncaster.
Mhm.
Behind the scenes, there's been, I think, pretty much everyone I've spoken to, a lot of people have just said it's a crazy fight to take, etc. He doesn't have much chance of winning, but
It's not a crazy fight. It's
but
not.
a lot of these people won't sit on camera. So the only person I know, obviously, Dom's been very vocal on it. I spoke to him yesterday, but he couldn't understand the fact that if you're getting offered a career high payday, it doesn't matter who you're going to fight. You're going to take it, aren't you? Is that a fair
Yeah,
comment?
that's a fair comment. And let me tell you this: Dave Allen has to believe in himself. Hrgovic is a very, very tall order, right? Because I wouldn't have Dave Allen beating David Allen. I know styles make fights, right? Are we not forgetting that you just lost to Magnumov, right? And Magnumov isn't nowhere near as good as Hrgovic. So doesn't it kind of sum it up to you what's going to happen in that fight? That's not me knocking Dave Allen because I really do like him, right? But if he's getting financially rewarded properly, he's a prize fighter. I'd rather him get a beating from Hrgovic and get 300 grand than get a beating from Jamie TKV and get 30 grand.
Okay. Well, do you give Dave Allen any chance in that fight?
No, I don't. But because I don't, that doesn't mean anything.
Okay. And then that whole argument of somebody taking a fight for a career high payday, I'm sure there's been examples of this in the past. You could probably even share one with us. It's normal. It's business, in it?
Listen, boxing is a business, and as soon as we take it on, like to say like, right, it's a business, then nobody will get upset by it. It's a business, and you know what I mean. And I wish, you know what, and furthermore, I wish David Allen all the best because he's going to need it because I don't think that's an easy fight for him.
Well, I know he's invested already. He's got a nutritionist on board. He's got Craig Kelbrook and Tyson Fury's nutritionist.
Yeah,
Greg Magny
yeah,
for the
and
camp.
that's what I'm saying. I wish him, you know what, my bro, I wish him all the best, and everybody else. You know what I mean? But for that note, now I got to say peace, two fingers. I'm bouncing.
Right, Spence, thank you very much for that quick blast, and we'll catch you very soon.
What an atmosphere it is. They go toe-to-toe to the bell. Been floored by the headshot. Refusing to lose. Refusing to give up.